The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. Cyber Essentials plays a key role in the cyber resilience strategy for Scotland. I'm Nick Calver. I'm the product manager here at IT Governance, and with me I have Peter Childs, who is one of our resident penetration testers, who will be available to take questions at the end of this presentation. So this webinar will explain what the Cyber Essentials scheme is and the role that it plays within the cyber resilience strategy for Scotland. You will learn during this presentation, hopefully, what the expectations and benefits are for obtaining Cyber Essentials certification. But first, let me tell you a little bit about IT governance. We've been helping clients secure their information and comply with industry standards since 2005. So our consultancy practice now helps clients towards protect and secure their intellectual capital, comply with relevant regulations, and thrive as they achieve strategic goals through their IT management. We're a leading provider of training courses from foundation to advanced level in a range of IT practitioner courses. This includes both PCI and certified ethical hacking. And our technical services practice delivers a range of services, including penetration testing, Cyber Essentials, the subject of this webinar, and PCI DSS compliance. To make you aware, we're a member of the Certified Register of Ethical Security Testers, CREST, which means that as a company, we adhere to an audited methodological approach to our testing. So, today's discussion. During today's webinar, I'm going to be talking about the following topics: Cyber Essentials scheme, what it is, and the 5 key controls; the Scottish Cyber Resilience Strategy and how it affects Scottish businesses; the certification process for Cyber Essentials; and finally, we will discuss how IT governance can help you deliver Cyber Essentials certification. So, what is Cyber Essentials and why is it important? Well, I picked up a report by the Ponemon Institute the other day and read that the average number of individual records breached by SMEs in a 12-month period now stands at around 11,000 records. The Zurich SME Risk Index also makes interesting reading if you want to pick up a copy online. It reveals now that 1 in 6 SMEs falls victim to a cyber attack within a 12-month period. And of those businesses that are affected, more than a fifth report that it cost them around £10,000, and 1 in 10 said it cost them more than £50,000. For businesses, there is a flip side to cybersecurity, and that flip side is about showing the robustness of your cybersecurity practices, which is now a genuine criterion for winning and maintaining business contracts. A quarter of medium-sized businesses now report that they have been directly asked by a prospective customer about what cybersecurity measures they have put in place. So it's important for your businesses as well as making sure you're protected. Now, the Cyber Essentials scheme is a leading assurance mechanism for organisations to help them demonstrate that the most critical cybersecurity controls have been implemented. Cyber Essentials is not just for SMEs, it's also a useful tool in helping larger companies secure their supply chains, and it's also very cost effective. Our prices start from around £300. What it does is it helps you address the 5 key control areas, the essential areas that, when implemented correctly, help to prevent around 80% of common cyber attacks. Now, those 5 key control areas include secure configuration, firewall, access controls, patch management, and malware, which I'll now touch on in the following slides. So, security configuration. Security configurations are one of the most common gaps that criminal hackers look to exploit. Both the SANS Institute and the Council of Cybersecurity recommend that once you inventory your hardware and software, the most important security control is secure configuration. Recently, some of the most notable breaches have involved misconfiguration. Those big brand names include Equifax, Verizon, and Veeam. The problem is that manufacturers often set the default configurations of new software and devices to be as open and multifunctional as possible. It is easier and more convenient to start using new devices or software using these default settings. However, it's not the most secure, and accepting the default setting without reviewing can create serious security issues, as the previous brands I mentioned found out. These settings can provide cyber attackers with opportunities to gain easy, unauthorized access to your data. Firewalls. Firewalls are essential. They effectively create a buffer between your IT network and other external networks. Whereas antivirus software helps to protect the system against unwanted programs, a firewall helps to keep attackers' threats from getting access to your system in the first place. A firewall can help protect against criminal hackers trying to breach your network, viruses that spread from computer to computer over the internet, and some outgoing traffic originating from a virus. There are various methods that firewalls use to filter out information. These can work at different layers of a network. For the inbound layer, firewalls can be set up to prevent access to certain websites. And for the outbound layer, firewalls can be programmed to stop employees transmitting your sensitive data. Firewalls can also prevent external computers from accessing computers inside the network. A robust firewall configuration in either hardware or software is crucial to be fully effective. Access controls. Any organization whose employees connect to the internet needs some level of access control in place. Access controls authenticate and authorize individuals to obtain information that they are permitted to see and use. Without appropriate access control, there is no data security. There are some prominent examples of companies that have gone wrong in terms of their access control. Deloitte, one of the big four accountancy firms, suffered a very serious hack when its global email server was compromised through an administration account that provided privileged, unrestricted access to all areas. eBay, the names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, and encrypted passwords of 145 million users were compromised when cyber criminals got into the organization's network using employee credentials. Sony Pictures Entertainment suffered a really big data breach, which Fortune called the hack of the century. A simple social engineering scam tricked Sony executives into giving out their usernames and passwords. Put simply, access control is a selective restriction of access to data. It consists of two elements: authentication, a technique used to verify the identity of a user; authorization determines whether a user should be given access to the data. To be effective, access control requires the enforcement of robust policies. That can be difficult when most organizations operate in hybrid environments, where data is now mobile and moves between on-site premises and the cloud to offices and beyond. Patch management. Prompt patching is essential for effective cybersecurity. When a new patch is released, attackers use software that looks at the underlying vulnerability in the application being patched. This is something that criminal hackers perform quickly, allowing them to release malware to exploit the vulnerability within hours of the patch being released. A criminal hacker can successfully attack before the target patches the vulnerability. There is a high risk of a data breach. Some of the most serious breaches have been caused by unpatched software. The Equifax breach workstations do. And sandboxing, executing untrusted software in an environment that controls access to other data. So, Cyber Essentials and best practice industry adoption. Cyber Essentials is now increasingly being adopted by industries, especially public bodies or those organisations wishing to connect to public networks to verify that security controls are in place and functioning properly. It is now a key requirement that all suppliers must be compliant with the new Cyber Essentials controls if bidding for government contracts which involve handling of sensitive and personal information and provision of technical products and services from the UK government. For example, in healthcare, Cyber Essentials Plus certification satisfies multiple conditions of the Data Security and Protection Toolkit. NHS industry partners need to comply with this toolkit from April 2018. For all Ministry of Defence advertised requirements, which entail the transfer of MOD identifiable information from customer to supplier, or the generation of information by a supplier specifically in support of the MOD contract, the MOD requires suppliers to have a Cyber Essentials certificate by the contract start date at the latest, and it is to be renewed annually. The scheme also forms a key part of the Scottish Cyber Resilience Strategy. Now, the Public Sector Action Plan has been developed in partnership with the Scottish Government and the National Cyber Resilience Leaders Board. This webinar focuses on both of those actions, 4 and 11. Action 11. The Scottish Government wants to monitor the progress of organisations towards cyber resilience. To do this, they have deployed an evaluation framework so they can assess how well the public sector plan is working. Organisations had to provide written assurance that they have done their pre-assessment, taken a decision on whether to certify themselves against Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus and confirm their timelines. By the end of October, organisations should provide written confirmation that Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus has been achieved. If you have not complied yet with this, it's not too late. We have support packages available, and to help you achieve Cyber Essentials, they start at prices from £300. So the next key action, all right. So there are essentially 3 routes to compliance. Firstly, the DIY approach. This is suitable for you if you have previously certified, you are simply looking to renew and your scope has not changed. You have reviewed the IT governance's scoping guide and are confident in defining the scope of your assessment, encompassing the entire organisation, and you own and operate your entire scope of IT infrastructure, and you are familiar with 5 controls covered in the Cyber Essentials questionnaire and how to meet them within your organisation. We also offer, in addition to our DIY package, a Get a Little Help package. This is suited for organizations where there is a more complex or expansive IT infrastructure, which may be cloud-based or a shared office environment, and you are confident that you have the knowledge of how to define your scope, but have some questions about what should be included. You may also have knowledge of configuring your IT to improve security, but do not fully understand the 5 key controls. Our final package is a get a lot of help. This approach should be adopted if you are a highly complex organization with a range of IT infrastructure, or you have not previously certified and have little or no knowledge of how to define your scope or meet the 5 controls. By adopting the Get a Lot of Help option, you will also receive a report which satisfies the Scottish Cyber Resilience Strategy requirements for the pre-assessment. With the October deadline already being passed, it is crucial that Scottish organisations get certified now. All of ITG's Cyber Essentials packages are CREST accredited and include an external vulnerability scan. This is an additional service that independently verifies the security status of each company that undergoes the Cyber Essentials certification through us. Non-CREST accredited certification bodies may not offer this service. In addition to being mandatory for Scottish public sector organisations, there are also a number of additional benefits from becoming Cyber Essentials certified. It obviously protects your systems, and as we've spoken about, is promoted as preventing 80% of the most common attacks. You can demonstrate security to increase your chance of securing business with your partners. You can work with the UK government and MOD and NHS. It can help you work towards your GDPR compliance, and it can also help you reduce cyber insurance premiums. At IT Governance, we've been certifying organizations for our process lets you manage everything through a simple and efficient online portal with a direct communication line to our assessors. We don't outsource any part of the process. All of our testers, scans, assessments, and advice comes from our experienced ITG's IT governance staff. We only offer CREST accredited certifications and testers, so there's an added level of independence and protection. There are multiple fixed packages which we've gone through to help you get the certification at the right price and level to suit your organization. And with many years of experience in governance, risk, and compliance, we can help ensure that you get the right knowledge to continually meet your Cyber Essentials requirements and general cybersecurity requirements. Next steps. For further information on the Public Sector Action Plan, you can download our free green page or sign up to our Cyber Essentials packages, then simply visit the page we have listed on this slide. To keep up to date with Scottish cyber resilience news, then why not follow us on social media, or if you'd like to get in touch with us after the webinar, then you can find our contact details on the slide. So this last section will deal with any of your questions, and I'll now hand over to our penetration tester, Peter Childs.
Good afternoon. Hope that was of use to you. If you do have any questions, please write them down now in the questions section within the webinar, and we'll answer them as best we can. We'll wait a few minutes for these questions to come in. So if you do have any, just put them down there in the question section and we'll get back to you. All right, well, thank you very much for attending. Oh, let's see. Working towards. So Cyber Essentials doesn't directly apply to ISO 27001. However, there are some key controls that do cover it over. So the question here is, we're currently working towards an ISO 27001 certification. In what way does ISO 27001 comply to Cyber Essentials? So as ISO 27001 is more about the compliance behind it, Cyber Essentials deals with more the technical aspect of the security. So it's the groundwork. A lot of the documentation that you will fill out in terms of Cyber Essentials will apply to ISO 20001, but it won't get you all the way there. It's the essentials and the groundwork that can help you achieve that going forward. Cyber Essentials is a very good starting point that will get you well on the way towards that. So the difference between Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus, they both cover the same scope and the same key controls, but Cyber Essentials just entails the self-assessed questionnaire and an external vulnerability scan that will test the external infrastructure of the network that you are certifying, whereas Plus will also include an internal assessment that is going to verify they've got a baseline vulnerability assessment of a representative sample of the workstations your end users use, as well as testing the access controls that your users have on a day-to-day basis. So it's a simple case of doing a scan that will check patching levels of installed software and security configurations. We'll be logging in as a standard user and seeing what we can download and what we can run, and testing the antivirus that's installed on these machines. We'll also be testing segmentation between your company and neighboring companies, or your company and guest networks where you allow unauthenticated machines to attach to. So it's the only addition is the internal assessment, confirmation on the questionnaire answers. All right, thank you for attending.